This is a public service announcement for Giants Nation. Give Saquon Barkley his apologies now. Immediately. You know you messed up. You told y'all the truth. Y'all didn't want to listen. But listen to what your GM and off-season scouts and personnel had to say about Saquon.
Obviously, Saquon, franchising and trading him, I don't think is realistic.
Are we positive that nobody's gonna pay him that kind of money? Like, there's nobody in the draft. There's no free agents, receivers that they're either gonna be going back to their team at $20 million.
I mean, who would you say would go sign up running back to that dollar amount?
A team anyone that has money to spend.
There's a lot of running backs in free agency.
Yeah, but are any potential difference makers really? Like after you watch this film?
Even if Saquon's number one on your board, do you imagine anyone's going to have such a gap between Saquon and Jacobs, Pollard, Henry, whoever else, that they're going to want him at $12 million a year or minus whatever we're willing to eat and send a draft pick?
Right. And then if we did, what would somebody realistically give up?
I just think all the teams that need a running back are going to look at Saquon. Do you feel good about eating $3 to $4 million for a fifth round pick? Like, I wouldn't.
I don't know. There's no guarantee we can trade him. So, having the needs that we have in a $12 million, 27-year-old running back.
Tom, is he worth it? Is he worth it? Really? Is Saquon Barkley worth it? That's crazy. And listen to these guys say. It was a great deal, too. Check it out.
They've had it for decades. Run the football, play defense. It's always been what Giant football has been about since the beginning of my childhood.
Really? Because it changed when Eli Manning, in the middle of his career. Like, they were slinging the ball around the yard.
They were, but
the game has changed. The game has changed. You can't play like that. That's the problem.
But they still had Brandon Jacobs. They still had a power running game when they needed it, and they were still built on defense. They didn't shut down the 18-0 Patriots because Eli Manning was slinging the ball all over the place. They shut them down because they had a great defense.
Yeah. Well, first of all, let's make it known. I'm the Giants ESPN reporter.
Yes.
So this is my wheelhouse. This might be
better for you to speak on.
So this is my conversation. So let me tell you what I hear when I see that. So first of all, that was Joe Schoen talking to Tim McDonald, who is the director of player personnel. Mm-hmm. Also a member of the Mara family. It's hard to not say that. Respected guy, though, in the front office on the personnel side. My response, if I were Joe Schoen there, would have been like, what's our identity about Saquon? Well, what was our identity with Saquon? Right. They averaged 11 points per game last season while going 2-8 to start the year. Right? Their season's over. They averaged 11 points. This is the NFL. Today's NFL, 2024. So their offensive identity was bad last year. That's what their offensive identity was. We have a bad offense. So with Saquon leaving, I think Joe Schoen is kind of right. Like, you can't pay your quarterback and then pay running back big money. It's not a good investment in today's NFL. And look, I don't want to compare them to Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson, but when you have a really good quarterback in this league, for the most part, you're not paying the running back big money. It's not a position you want to pay a lot of big money to. The Ravens don't. The Chiefs, even though they did sign Derrick Henry this year, but they haven't. The Chiefs, they have a 7th round pick in Isaiah Pacheco. The Bills haven't paid the running back position. They have Josh Allen. I mean, you could go on and on and on and on. For the most part, and the team that does is the 49ers, because they have their quarterback
making $700,000 a year.
Rookie contract. So for the Giants, getting rid of Saquon, in my opinion, was the right move. Like,
yes,
you're a Giants fan, right?
Yes.
If I say to you, would you rather have Saquon Barkley, or I'll give you Devin Singletary and a starting offensive lineman? Because that's essentially what they put the money into. And their line has been so bad for years, they had to address that. Which would you take?
I would caveat it by saying taking a running back second overall was the most derelict thing I've seen a front office do
I was
quite
against
some
it
time.
from the start.
But that being said,
not that he's not a great player. It's just a bad investment. The value isn't there.
It's kind of like buying a Lamborghini when you owe too much on your house. Your house payment,
right?
Like, it's just a bad.
Yeah, it's a great car.
Yes,
it's a great car.
Nothing wrong with the
Awesome car.
That's not the issue. So. But Devin Singletary clearly is the more fiscally responsible way to go about doing it. And really, at the end of the day, what it boils down to, Jordan, is can you replace the production? Right? You might not be able to replace the player, but can you sort of replace the production, even in the aggregate, with multiple different running backs and be able to do it? And that's what good GMs are able to do. They're able to find production in different ways. And so I agree with you. I think getting rid of him was the right move. I don't think it was smart to repay him. And again, it's not an indictment on him as a player, as a man, as part of the locker room, as what he meant to. It has nothing to do with that. It was purely a business decision. The NFL is cold. It's callous. It's supposed to be that way. You're not supposed to make decisions based on emotion, because when you do that, you end up making bad decisions.
Yeah. And the Giants do make a lot of decisions based on emotion. And you saw John Mara in another conversation with Joe Shane say, well, in a perfect world, I really would like to keep Saquon. Yeah. I'm paraphrasing a little bit. And until I see us have a decent offense. And then he also said, maybe we could trade him, at least get something for him, which wasn't realistic. No. But here's the thing. My opinion, the way I think this is going to play out, it's the right move for the Giants. But they're also going to probably look bad. Saquon Barkley's in a really good spot.
He's a good player.
As long as he's healthy,
yes,
he's going to look good in Philadelphia. And everyone's going to be like, see, they shouldn't have got rid of him. And so
doubting that.
Joe Shane's kind of in a no-win situation here, because he's going to probably look bad that he let him go when Saquon's having success in Philadelphia.
And oh, by the way, Philadelphia is going to be in the playoffs, and the Giants likely or not.
Yeah.
I mean,
what happens when Saquon is having postseason success for the Philadelphia Eagles? How is you as a Giant fan going to handle that?
It's not going to bother me, because, again, nothing that the Eagles do makes the Giants better, right? So this isn't about where he landed. Yes, it's frustrating. You never want the player you let go to end up signing with your rival and being a part of a team that helps them win. I say this as a Giants fan. God forbid the Eagles win another championship. Nobody needs that in their lives outside the city of Philadelphia. But, so it doesn't. It's the right move for the Giants, because they are at a very significant crossroads here, figuring out how to rebuild this roster. You and I were talking about it before the show. Like, objectively, what are the Giants top 10 in? What category of football are the Giants top 10 in right now?
You're hoping pass rush now that they added Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau and Dexter
There's
Lawrence.
nothing. We don't know the answer to that yet. Yeah. So this is a flawed roster.
Red zone defense, I think, was all they had.
That doesn't bring a
like
lot to the table.
Anything.
Right. So the Giants letting him go was a necessary move. Figuring out Daniel Jones is the next part of this whole thing. And once you figure that out, if you get rid of both those guys, you've now sort of done the thing that smart teams want to do in a rebuild is, one, reset the salary cap. Because that's step one of rebuilding in the NFL. Reset your cap, give yourself the flexibility, and then restock.
What they did this offseason, John Mara said it when he talked in the spring, it was a reallocation of resources. Right? They let Saquon Barkley walk. They really didn't have an intention of re-signing him. And if you watch the Hard Knocks, that's kind of like your number one takeaway.
Right.
Is that it's pretty obvious Joe Shane was ready to move on from Saquon Barkley. He didn't really believe in putting a lot of money into the running back position. And even though he did offer deals last year, probably stretched beyond what he really deep down wanted to do. So they let him walk, Saquon Barkley. They let Xavier McKinney, a safety, walk, a very good player.
I didn't like that move.
But it's a reallocation of resources. He has beliefs, Joe Shane. We don't want to put a lot of money into safety. We don't want to put a lot of money, ideally, into running back. Maybe later on, if it's someone you're looking for final pieces, like the Eagles are. But no, we're going to put our money into edge rusher and Brian Burns instead of the safety position. We're going to put our money into offensive line. They signed John Runyon Jr., Jermaine Illuminor, two potential starting, or not potential, they're going to start on the offensive line rather than running back. So it's a reallocation of resources, which I think, again, today's NFL, the right move.
And I'll add one more note just on Saquon going to Philadelphia, because in reality, he's still in the running back by committee situation. He's not like he's the lead guy. They still have DeAndre Swift there. They still have a whole bunch of other...
No, Swift is gone.
Where did Swift go?
He went to the Bears.
Did he?
Yeah, he was a free agent. He literally signed on 1 minute.
Do they still have Gainwell? Do they still have all the other guys there?
Yes, Boston Scott, the Giant Killer.
The Giant Killer, yeah.
He's gone, but everybody else, they have a couple other guys. Everybody, you need some sort of committee in today's NFL.
Of course, that's the point.
Yeah, which is exactly why it's also not a great investment. And the injury rate, of course, the running back is
a
higher.
lot there.
I just higher than every other position.
I'm not worried about it from a Giants perspective. If they made the wrong move, you're only looking at that through the prism of the amount of success he had. You're not looking at it through the prism of this is what is necessary for a roster to sort of, as you said, reallocate resources and reset itself going forward. All right, championship of Wimbledon.
Now with all the slander out of the way, Saquon Barkley is a Philadelphia Eagle. He's going to be an Eagle to stay forever until he retires. He's going to retire at midnight green now. Thanks for bringing him back home, New York. Thanks for not wanting to pay the man. And thank you, Howie Roseman, for doing what you do best. And that's bring talent to this Eagles team. But this was just an announcement for all Giants fans. But I need you guys to get down on your hands and pray to God for forgiveness, for slandering this man, making him look bad, burning the man's jerseys for no reason, because you thought he was trying to be the enemy when he wanted to be there. But he's in Philly, like I said, 2 times a year you will get this chance to see him, and once at home. So go buy your relic jerseys. We'll spend money on your old jerseys to support Saquon when he's at home. No booze, just cheers. He wanted to be there, but now he's going to destroy you guys 2 times a year.